And we are live here. Hello, everyone. My name is Susannah Campora. I'm the creator and founder of Real Life Book Club and the Real Life Socials. And I am so honored today to have Kara Valentine Wiegand. That's how I know her. She is one
Yes.
of the co-owners, co-founders of Threads Worldwide, which is one of our community sponsors, a partner for the Real Life Socials, and we absolutely have loved working with Threads. Thank you so much, Kara, for being a partner of ours. It truly is an honor, and just having your presence at the last social too as a panelist. It was amazing to hear your voice and to hear your message. So I get you all to myself today. Thanks for being here.
I'm so happy to be here. We've been working to put this together for a little while, and I'm so happy that it's here.
Yay, it's here. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Kara, I would love to just find out a little bit more about Threads Worldwide, and if you could share that mission first and why Threads has decided to partner up with the Real Life Socials.
Wonderful. So I started Threads along with my two best friends in 2011. We made our first sale in 2012. And what we do is we source beautiful jewelry and accessories from women around the world in developing countries. And we sell it through a direct sales channel here in the US. And our mission is to create life-changing work for women around the world through the fair trade of artisan jewelry. And a lot of times we focus our messaging and talk around the life-changing work we're making for women, the developing working with. We work with women who are HIV positive. We work with women in India who before wouldn't be able to send their kids to school. They would be begging on the streets. And now that the women are making money, then they get to send their kids to school. We work with women survivors of the sex trade. So yes, we are definitely changing lives in those developing countries, but we are really changing lives here with women in the US. So the women who sign up to be, we call them fair trade partners, are the women here in the US. They earn commission on everything that they sell.
Awesome.
So they're able to have a really fun and flexible way to make a living while they're making a huge impact on women across the globe. And we have, we have everything from women who are doing it for some extra discretionary income to women who are leaving their full-time jobs and replacing their full-time income with their work at Threads. So that's what we're doing, and I could not be any more excited about it. And as far as why we partnered with you, it's funny, we're very picky when it comes to what we're going to spend, our money on and what we're going to spend our time on. But ever since you and I met 3 years ago, maybe?
Ish.
Ish.
Something like that.
Yeah, and I just connected with you right away. I loved your spark. I loved your idea for the Real Life Book Club. And the women that you're bringing to these socials are women who want to make a difference in their lives, and they're committed to living extraordinary lives. And I just see that as such a powerful partnership, because those are the exact women that we're looking to partner with and have join our team.
Awesome. Yes, so beautiful. What we both share in common, I think, is that we saw a need in the world with whatever we had been exposed to. I mean, we both have very, very different stories, but what I love about what you and your friends did with Threads and what I'm doing with the Real Life Book Club and socials is just taking action on, really important needs that we see in the world to help our fellow man or fellow woman, the whole world. I mean, think about the ripple effect that Threads has already created. And did you have that in mind when you first started it? I mean, tell me a little bit about how you started or got the idea to do something like this. I mean, it's a big thing, and you guys are worldwide. You're helping women in America. You're helping women all around the world. I mean, wow. I mean, for me, it's like, yeah, it starts off as a seed and it kind of grows, and you're like, whoa, you see the vision as you go. But I would love to hear more about what, how it's looked for you guys.
Sure. So it first started, so my partners, Angela Melfi and Lindsay Murphy, we've been,
by the way, they're so awesome. Oh.
I tell you, I wake up every single morning being like, how in the world am I so lucky that I get to do this work with two of the women that I love most in the world and that I believe in most in the world. So they are, I can't say enough about them. Angela is actually speaking at the Fair Trade Federation conference in Burlington, Vermont right now.
Wow.
So, yes, I can't wait to see that panel.
Yes.
But as far as the idea, so we've traveled together and we were always really overwhelmed by the extreme poverty that we saw around the world. And it was really hard to come home and go back to our everyday lives, you know, going to restaurants and leaving food on the plates when you're seeing people starving who can't feed their kids. And it was something that, and then the more we educated ourselves and learned about human trafficking and the health crises around the world, and we're sitting here in our very comfortable houses thinking, this is not right. We have, and something that's so prevalent for me is we have the resources here in the world to eradicate poverty, but we're just not doing enough about it. And so we had the idea, and we would see these beautiful products that women were making around the world and haggling with tourists. And, you know, tourists, when you travel, you're told, oh, it's customary to haggle for prices. Well, these are people that cannot put food on their table. So that would be really disturbing for us too. So we thought, what if, actually Angela was at a speech by the founder of Global Girlfriend, and she was bringing products in made by women and selling them here in the US via e-commerce. And Angela had the idea of, oh my gosh, what if we do this, but use a direct sales channel? And she had a little bit of experience in the direct sales world. And we thought, wow, how powerful would that be to not only have all these women out selling and creating this income opportunity for our artisans, but educating people on the power of their purchases. You know, these women that get started with us, they're in a lot of places across the country working in areas where people don't know anything about fair trade, and they don't think about the exploitation that's happening in the fashion industry. You know, before we started this company, we were guilty of it too. We'd go to Target and say, oh my gosh, I got these earrings and they were $6. That would be our bragging point, without thinking, gosh, if they're $6, who is being exploited, who is not being paid in this process? So that was the direct sales channel idea. And something that's been so powerful is that I didn't give thought to enough is this community of women that has been created through Threads. I am so inspired by all of the women that are working with us. I get inspiration from them. I get inspiration from the artisans. I get inspiration from the fair trade partners every single day.
This is truly collaboration and community and connection in its entirety. I mean, you have really captured the values that I really want to bring into the world too. I mean, it's no wonder we're working together. It's like your whole company and what you guys stand for, and I can just feel it in your words and in your heart that you mean business with those types of values, those really timeless, powerful values. So I just commend you on that. And there are, I mean, the women in your company, the women there's so many amazing people out there that have amazing ideas, especially in America where we are allowed to have those ideas and actually act upon them. What would you say? I mean, you've created such a huge empire, and granted, you did not do it by yourself. You had a built-in team from the very beginning. But what would you like to share with anyone that has an idea that might seem bigger than themselves, like a little bit intimidating? I mean, to eradicate poverty, to, you know, have an international company that helps a lot of people. What would be some good advice for them?
The biggest things for me are, I come back to 3 points every time. And the first one is really connecting with your vision and spending the time figuring out what lights you up and what is something that you're going to be able to come back to every time something is hard, and connect with that vision and have it give you power. For me, my vision is a world where every mother has the opportunity to feed their children and send them to school. Like I still, every time I say that, I get chills in my head. So it's like, that is clearly my vision. And business is hard, you know this. And when things get hard, I'll take a moment, I'll sit back and I'll really feel into that and reconnect with that. And that gives me power. So I'd say really taking the time to get to know yourself and figure out what it is that you're passionate about, and continue to reconnect with that. The second thing is just you don't have to know how it's all going to go. You have to figure out what's your vision, what do you want to work towards, and what's the step that you can take in this moment, or what's the one step you can take today. And as you do that, and as the momentum goes and the universe aligns around you, that next step will always show up.
But you have to take that step, right? That's the scary thing, even to take a baby step. But wouldn't you agree that fear sometimes makes you think that it has to be all done right now perfectly, you know? And it's the case. So I love that you bring that up. Thank you, Kara.
Yeah, that's been a really big one. And the third one is surround yourself with a tribe and a team. And you're doing that so beautifully with the Real Life Book Club. But whether it's business partners or a personal board of advisors, just surround yourself with, you know, men, women, whoever it is that believes in you, that shares your vision, that's going to build you up when you're feeling down. And yeah, just surround yourself with those people. And I have to be very honest, I've come a long way in my own personal journey and transformation since starting Threads. And I don't think I would have had the courage to do it on my own if I didn't have my partners. That was a huge part of what propelled me forward, was me believing, you know, because I had the fear and the self-doubt, but I would look at my best friends and I'm like, oh my gosh, well, I'm going to be in partnership with you. So of course I'm going to move forward with it.
Oh, so love that. So you were able to really just stay connected to them, and it sounds like that just got you through. That's a huge component to that. In your personal life, I mean, I think that's one thing that can hold a lot of people back from acting on their big ideas, even if it's, you know, just that first baby step, is maybe the concept that, like, the life that they have now, or, you know, whatever they're in their personal life, that they just can't fit it in, they can't do it, or they might have fear around letting go of maybe the job, or maybe they know that they're going to have to make some changes, and it's just scary, you know, either changes in their mindset or changes in their external life. I mean, what would you say to that, especially with your own story? Would love to hear a little bit about how you worked through some of that.
Yeah, I would say if the fear is coming into play, you have to ask yourself, am I happy? Am I living a life full of joy? Am I living a life full of fulfillment? And if that answer is yes, then keep doing exactly what you're doing. But if that answer is no, then really take the time to figure out where you're out of alignment and shift your priorities based on that. I spent way too long being afraid to let go of things, and it got in the way of my journey. Even at the beginning of starting Threads, I was holding on to all these other jobs because I was making money, and I was just so fearful of letting go of those things. But as soon as I did, this universe lined up, and all of a sudden momentum really started happening, and things were really moving and shaking. So I would say to, really check in with that. And then also what's coming up for me right now is I think we as women have trouble with our own worthiness, and especially if we're wives and mothers. I spent a long time not putting myself first and always saying, okay, well, what's the decision that's best for my husband? What's the decision that's best for my kids? And I ended up doing that for a lot of years and really focusing on, okay, what's going to make everyone else happy? And I ended up getting pretty sick. I had all these health issues, and I couldn't figure them out. I would go to the doctor like, okay, check my hormones, check my thyroid, check these things. And they're like, okay, you might be crazy because you have nothing physical going on. And I'm a very outgoing person that I thrive in relationship. And so at one point, my husband, I was just having such a hard time. And he said to me, do you think you might have some sort of mental health piece, some sort of depression, some sort of anxiety? And it took my breath away when he said it. I had never, because of my personality, never considered that that could be something that was going on with me. And so I started to read up on it, and come to find out I was just riddled with anxiety that was leading into, depression symptoms. So I really stopped and got therapy, actually started on a little bit of medication, and it was that little tweak for me where I was able to see, instead of always being motivated by like the anxiety of what if I don't do this, and I want to do a good job, I want to be perfect, and all of those things. It started coming from a place of, well, what do I need to do to make me happy? Like, what makes me feel the best? And that has completely changed my life and has made me a much better businesswoman, a much better friend, much better partner, much better mother, all of those things.
Wow. So what I'm hearing you say is that some of those symptoms were a catalyst for you to really learn to receive good things for yourself. Because it sounds like you were kind of just putting yourself on the back burner, which, yeah, for me, I hear that all the time with women, with my coaching clients, and that's a huge part of my story too. And where do you think that comes from? Just the kind of putting ourselves aside, just even our needs, like even just self-care,
Yeah.
important things that make us feel good and alive.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think part of it is just how we're wired, and I'm going to start with that. How we're wired. We're women, we're wired to be nurturers. And I love that the conversation in society is starting to shift, at least in the circles that I'm running in, to talk about self-care and to talk about the importance of taking care of yourself before you take care of other people. And so I would say it's a wiring thing. And then, it's a society thing where we as women, we don't want to see ourselves as being, we see a lot of times self-care as being selfish. And it's so important. If we want to do big things in the world, we have to take care of ourselves first. And that is something that's just become crystal clear to me, just even in the last 6 months or so.
Wow, yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your story around that. I know, it's just like another phase that you've had to go through. There's been a lot of different personal and business phases and hard times. I think that's a really important one. Although I'm really curious, Kara, since this is your area of expertise, what, do women in other countries experience these symptoms, like us American women?
Yes, they do, except so many of the women that we work with are so in survival mode that they can't even consider these things. Mm-hmm. So I want to share just a little story, if I can, about one of the groups that we work with in Guatemala. Actually, we're going to go see them. We have an incentive trip for our fair trade partners. So a big group of us are going to go over to Guatemala and visit with these women, which I had the absolute privilege of doing last year, and it completely changed my life. But these are women, they are right outside Lake Atitlan in Guatemala, and they live in this remote little mountainous area. And you go there, and I mean, you feel like you're living 200 years ago. And I look around, and these women, their children, they have 4-year-olds who are taking care of the household and the babies and helping them cook. And the women are just running around. Right now they have this work making jewelry and accessories. Before this group went there, they had nothing. And their life was getting married at 14, moving in with their in-laws, having so much violence against women. And so they would be beat up by their husbands, by their in-laws, and that was their entire lives. Now, a woman who we work with, Maria Pacheco, who is, they call her the Mother Teresa of Guatemala. And that's exactly our experience with her. It's like Angela and I were like elbowing each other to try to spend more time with her. Like, that's how she is, absolutely incredible. And her goal in life is going to these remote areas in Guatemala and transforming the communities. And what it takes to do that is creating income opportunities for the women, bringing education, bringing, you know, healthy foods and nutrition information to these areas. So her first step is bringing women together and saying, you know, what are your dreams? And these women look at her with this blank stare of like,
Wow.
we're not worthy of having dreams. You know,
Yes.
we're here to feed the babies and get food on the table for our families.
Wow.
And through this work and through, you know, counseling and these women, the first brave, it is not accepted for women to work in these areas initially. And so these incredibly brave women who were willing to take a risk and take a chance, many of them, once they started to come to work, would come home and be beaten because the mentality was, who do you think you are to be going to do this? But the ones that kept coming back and kept coming back, and then more women would find the courage, and all of a sudden they are bringing money home, and money buys things, and then so all of a sudden the husbands are like, oh, okay, well maybe this isn't so bad. So actually, when we went to Guatemala, it was incredible. So they work out of their leader, her name is Asanta's house, and it's really, I mean, I say house, but it's, you know, kind of a mud floor, no walls. And it was all the women sitting around in community. Some were, you know, nursing their babies, the kids are all around, and the husbands are there like transporting the jewelry. They're now part of the operation. So
Awesome. It's a family affair. Awesome.
there. And it just, now they, you know, the whole community is being transformed because some of these very, very brave women had the courage to get started. So
Revolution. Oh, are you there? Okay. Okay.
I just came back, so I missed
Okay, awesome.
from
No, the question of that I do a lot with women in my work is, what do you desire? You know, what do you desire to be happy? And Danielle Laporte, with her book, The Desire Map, really has helped women. She's really created a movement worldwide herself around, oh, nice cup.
it's very, I try to be very professional. There's
That is
Anna
so amazing.
and Sven and Elsa. Yep. And then also I'm drinking coffee, if you notice this, a nice coffee mug with a unicorn and a rainbow.
I'm drinking my coffee out of a wine glass, like a, yeah, without a stem, stemless wine.
Whatever works. Whatever works.
I love it. But yeah, I mean, isn't it, it's interesting. I hear similarities when you're talking about these women in Guatemala. We, in America, we're in survival mode for totally different reasons. We don't even need to be, but I think that's the key, is like having that bigger purpose and like that just doing things that are kind of beyond us, that help us realize that there's more than just survival. There are ways for all of us women in all throughout the world to tap into thriving. And it sounds, I mean, we really can't do it alone. We have to have courage. And it is kind of a community affair. I mean, we all have to be supported in thriving, you know, to be in that thriving mode and just to get out of the survival mode and going through the motions and like being in fear all the time. So that is a fascinating story, and I love the correlations there. I mean, it opens up a lot of doors within me that I would want to take into other conversation for a long time. So we won't go there right now, but a lot to think about there. Thank you for sharing that. It's amazing. Have a very good trip. When is that trip?
September, mid-September.
Mid-September. Okay.
So, yeah, our fair trade partners have until the end of June to earn the trip. So I'm so
Ooh,
excited
contest. Love it. How many fair trade partners do you have right now in the country?
We're in the mid-60s right now.
Awesome. And how is that experience for you?
It's of growing the team or being part of the team.
Yeah.
It's been, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, this was not on my radar when we first formed. It was like, yeah, they can educate and it'll be great. And I'm like, these women have become like my partners and my great friends. And we are, we have this really great private Facebook group, and you've never seen anything like it, especially in the business world where there's so much competition, and in the sales business world where it's like, I want to be the best, I want to be the best. In this community, someone will come up with this incredible idea or this incredible marketing material, and then they'll post it and say, I just came up with this idea, everyone take it. Or people, we have this incredibly inspiring woman in Vermont. Her name is Mary Naden Scott, and she's actually in a wheelchair. And she had the courage to start with Threads. And I mean, we all talk about our own fear of, asking people to support us. And I mean, she has so many more obstacles to overcome. And she got started with us, and she has inspired me beyond belief in like every single part of my life, along with our artisan partners. And she was in there the other day. She's like, oh, I'm feeling a little down because something happened with one of her events. And we have, 60 women that are jumping in there and just, posting quotes and inspiring her, and just that, that community of connection and inspiration. It's incredible.
Oh, love to hear that. I mean, it's so awesome to hear what you're doing, and I'm sure that there are many
Go to our website.
with you. All the information will be in the description underneath this video, and really looking forward to getting this interview out. It's been amazing.
Yes, I love the conversations we have. So,
it's for information about Real Life Book Club, reallifebookclub.com, as well as the socials. There's information about the next social is May 23rd. We have it once every 2 months. About 60 women in Denver show up, and we have a great panel discussion. We loved having you on the panel last time. Thank you, Kara. And yeah, there's just a lot of good things happening in the world. Every one of us can make a change. And so, Kara, you're evident of that. You embody that. And I'm just extremely thrilled to know you and to partner with you and looking forward to everything coming.
Yes, I feel the same way, and I will see you at the next Real Life Book Club social.
Okay, sounds good. Bye.
All right. Bye, Tiziana.
See ya.